Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have criticised an online petition ahead of their trip to Australia next month. More than 35,000 people have signed the form.
Hasn't Australia suffered enough? What have you done to deserve this?
I know.
I mean, the couple's I'm thinking thoughts and prayers. The couple's popularity in Australia in 2018 was the catalyst for Harry and Meghan making demands as working members of the royal family. I don't know if you know that.
Harry and Meghan's tour of Australia to be deprived of all public funding.
They don't want her. They don't like her. When she last came, just after she was married with Harry, she was extremely rude. She was extremely rude to the staff. She didn't like anything. She demanded things. Big, better rooms, better this.
You just can't sort of understand why they're doing this. In a way, it's confected. It's because they're irrelevant. They're falling off the news cycle. Meghan isn't selling any jam.
It's because the Australian public didn't know Meghan Markle very well. Well, they know her now. And what do they know her to be? A gold-digging grifter.
35,000 people. That is how many Australians signed a petition before Harry and Meghan even landed, raising one very simple question. Should taxpayers foot the bill for this visit?
We don't want you here, but the petition demands that no taxpayer funding or official support.
And when that number hit the news, observers expected one of two responses: silence, or a careful, measured acknowledgement. What came instead shocked even commentators who have defended this couple for years. Their spokesperson fired back. And what that statement revealed, according to critics, raised serious questions.
They obviously should pay for their own trips. They're very clearly doing a mixture of business.
Not just about the Australia trip, but about the entire direction of the Sussex operation right now. This is what happened. This is what was said. And this is what analysts are now calling one of the most damaging, self-inflicted PR moments this couple has ever produced. Let's start with the facts on the ground. A group called Beyond Australia launched a petition with one straightforward demand: no taxpayer money, no official support for Harry and Meghan's upcoming private visit to the country.
These two want everything. They want all the perks that come with being royal.
Within days, over 35,000 people had signed it. A separate poll asked Australians directly, do you want them here? According to reports, 95% said no. Another vote on whether the couple should cover their own costs came back at 98% yes, across 40,000 respondents. Now, critics of the petition pointed out that 35,000 signatures represents a small fraction of Australia's population. But observers noted that 35,000 people organizing around a single celebrity visit, before that visit has even happened, is, by any measure, an unusual level of public pushback. So, what is driving it? According to royal biographer Angela Levin, who has reported extensively on the couple, Australia has a very specific memory of the last time Meghan visited. That was 2018, the Commonwealth tour, newly married at the absolute peak of their public popularity. And yet, Levin reported that during that trip, Meghan was, in her words, extremely rude to staff, demanding better rooms, complaining about crowd sizes.
She was extremely rude to the staff. She didn't like anything. She demanded things, big, better rooms.
Levin also referenced what she described as an incident involving hot tea being thrown at a member of staff. The Sussex team has not publicly addressed those specific claims. What that means, according to observers, is that this petition is not simply about money, it is about memory. And for many Australians, that memory is still very much alive. And then came the response that changed the entire conversation. When the petition made headlines, a Sussex spokesperson contacted the press and issued a statement. And it is worth reading in full because analysts say it speaks for itself. The spokesperson said, and this is a direct quote, "Of course, if you wanted to dive into the ridiculousness of this petition as an agenda for spreading misinformation, then one could equally hypothesize that there are approximately 26.5 million Australians, 99.98% of the population, who haven't signed it, who must therefore agree with the taxpayer picking up the tab." Critics immediately pointed out the logical problem at the center of that argument. By that reasoning, every Australian who had never heard of the petition Every person at work, making school lunches, sitting in traffic, was being counted as an active supporter of publicly funding the visit. The silence of millions of people, observers noted, was being presented as endorsement. Royal commentator Kinsey Sofield, who covers this space professionally, said the statement reeks of animosity.
And the tone of their response about this particular petition, it reeks of animosity.
She added that the response helps explain why this couple polls so poorly globally and referenced the well-known PR principle. Never complain, never explain. According to Schofield, the Sussex team keeps doing the exact opposite.
I know, never complain, never explain, hitting back at this and so arrogantly.
But beyond the tone, analysts flagged something else entirely. What the statement did not address. The spokesperson confirmed that the trip is privately funded, but critics noted that no comment was made on whether Australian police officers would be redeployed, whether public roads would be closed, or whether a government security convoy would be involved. So all of those carry a public cost, regardless of who pays for flights and hotels. That question, observers say, was never answered. There is one more detail in this story that has not received nearly enough attention. Harry is scheduled to attend an Invictus Games planning meeting during the Australia trip, and that raises a question that some commentators have begun asking publicly. Invictus is a charity that has received significant public funding, including a reported £26 million UK government grant. Critics have asked whether any portion of the costs associated with this visit could be connected to that charitable budget, effectively meaning that what is being described as a private commercial trip could involve veterans' charity funds. That has not been confirmed. The Sussex team has not been asked about it publicly, when no denial has been issued. But observers say it is exactly the kind of question that deserves a transparent, direct answer, particularly given that the entire controversy began with concerns about public money. The Australia story, analysts say, does not exist in isolation. Back in Montecito, California, where Harry and Meghan have lived since 2020, Page 6 and multiple other outlets have reported a notable shift in how the couple are perceived within their own community.
A source tells Page 6 that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Montecito neighbors are over it. Everyone is avoiding them, and no one wants to be seen with them.
The word used most consistently by area sources, according to those reports, is one: takers. Montecito is not a typical neighborhood. Oprah Winfrey, Rob Lowe, and Ellen DeGeneres have all lived there. These are figures with decades of experience managing public life. And according to observers familiar with that community, there's one unspoken expectation for everyone who moves in: blend in, stay quiet, and don't bring outside chaos to your neighbors' doors. According to Page 6's reporting, sources in the area say that expectation has not been met. Rob Lowe, speaking on record and by name, claimed that drones had been sent over neighboring properties. That is a named public figure making a specific documented claim. A separate account, reported across multiple outlets, described an elderly veteran neighbor who approached the couple's security gate simply wanting to welcome them to the community. He had a DVD of local history he wished to share. According to reports, the response relayed back through security was that he could leave it at the gate. Observers noted that story spread quickly through the neighborhood. And Page 6 quoted one area source as saying, "The sentiment is not hatred. It is, in their words, a growing awareness that the couple are takers with zero self-awareness, and that everyone is exhausted."
Nobody hates them, but that there's just a growing awareness that they're takers with zero self-awareness, and that everyone is just exhausted.
What has also been noted is the quiet disappearance of several high-profile friendships. The public relationship with David Foster and Catherine McPhee, which was prominently featured when the Sussexes first arrived, has, according to reports, simply ended. No falling out was announced, no explanation was given. It faded. Critics say it follows a pattern that has repeated itself across multiple relationships connected to this couple. And then there is the publishing story, and in which, according to insiders speaking to NewsNation, may be the clearest financial picture yet of where things stand. Penguin Random House, those insiders say, is done with the Sussexes. Harry's memoir generated significant sales. He reportedly received a $20 million advance. But according to publishing sources, the deal was structured in a way that the publisher will reportedly never recoup its full investment, meaning no royalties will ever be owed. Yet, according to those same sources, Harry's team has been in contact with Penguin's offices on a near-weekly basis asking about those royalties. One publishing insider, quoted directly by NewsNation, said Harry appears to have what they called a fundamental disconnect to the concept of money, and certainly that money can indeed run out. On Meghan's side, reports indicate she pitched two separate book proposals, one focused on leadership and philanthropy, and one that sources described as involving the subject of divorce, and both were reportedly rejected. And according to insiders, the publisher is no longer responding to outreach from the Sussex team. Observers noted the broader implication: $20 million in advances, no royalties coming, no future publishing deals on the table, and ongoing attempts to access funds that, according to insiders, simply do not exist. Critics say it raises a deeper question about the financial foundation the Sussex brand is actually built on, and how sustainable that foundation is. So here is where things stand across multiple continents, multiple industries, and multiple relationships, all at the same time. In Australia, a petition signed by 35,000 people was met with a statement that, according to commentators, managed to alienate far more people than the petition itself ever could. In Montecito, sources are telling the press that the couple's neighbors and people who live in one of the most discreet celebrity experience communities in America are quietly keeping their distance. In publishing, insiders say the relationship with one of the world's largest publishers has ended, with no new deals on the horizon. And analysts say all of it points to the same underlying tension: a couple navigating the space between royal identity and independent celebrity, and, according to critics, struggling to find solid ground on either side, in Montecito, in Australia, in Hollywood. Observers note that the same pattern keeps emerging: an initial welcome, followed by a slow withdrawal, followed eventually by someone deciding to speak on the record. That pattern, critics argue, is now too consistent to dismiss. Australia has a long memory, and according to those watching closely, the rest of the world is starting to catch up. Let me know in the comments. Are you following the Australia visit? And do you think the spokesperson's statement helped or made things significantly worse? If this gave you something to think about, hit like and subscribe to Royal Archives. We follow the documented story wherever it leads. See you in the next one.